There's a silent divide opening up in America right now, and if you feel like you're working harder just to stay in the same place, you aren't imagining it. Over the last few years, we've seen a massive wealth explosion, but it hasn't happened for everyone. While average wages have struggled to keep pace with inflation, asset prices, stocks, real estate, and gold have skyrocketed. And if you own the right assets, your net worth has surged. If you didn't, you've been left behind. Economists call this a K-shaped recovery, and the gap between the rich and the rest of us just hit its widest point in 30 years. Today, we're looking at the 5 stages of net worth as of early 2026. We're going to find out exactly where you stand and how you stack up against other Americans in this new economy. And yes, we'll even take a peek at the top 10 and 1%. But more importantly, I'm going to give you the one specific action you must take to move to the next level. By the end of this video, you'll know your exact position and your exact next move. My name is Steve, and if you're new here, this channel is all about building real financial strength, smart investing, and long-term financial independence. The net worth numbers you'll see in this video are based on Federal Reserve data, but they have been adjusted for inflation and market trends and updated for 2026. If you want more details about the data, I'll include a full breakdown in the video description. Just a quick note before we dive in. For this video, we're using median net worth numbers, not averages. Averages are often skewed by outliers, billionaires pulling the numbers way up, where median is a much better measure of where people's net worth actually stands. This gives you a real picture of where you rank. Let's start at level 1, where the air is thin and the clock is ticking. The bottom 20% of Americans have a median net worth of roughly $15,000 or less, and this includes millions of people with negative net worth, buried under student loans, medical debt, or credit card balances. This group is often younger people in their 20s or early 30s who are just getting started, but it also includes people who have faced a major setback, a divorce, a medical emergency, a job loss that wiped out years of progress. Age doesn't protect you from ending up here. Circumstances do. If you're in this zone, your panic factor, which is how long you could survive if your income stopped tomorrow, is measured in only days or weeks. A flat tire or a chipped tooth isn't just an expense, it's a threat to your housing, your ability to get work, your entire foundation. This is where financial emergencies don't just hurt, they compound. A $500 car repair leads to missed rent payment, which leads to an eviction notice. Here's why people stay trapped at this level. You are being crushed by what I call the inflation tax. When groceries go up 15% and rents climb 20%, it hits this group the hardest because 100% of your income goes to immediate survival. There's nothing left to save, nothing left over to invest, and every month you're just trying to make it to the next paycheck without something breaking. The system isn't designed for you to build wealth here, it's designed to keep you running in place. So what's the action you need to take? Build the shield. Here's the critical part. You cannot invest your way out of this level yet. I know you see the headlines about the stock market hitting new highs, but that's not your game right now. Your only goal is to stop the bleeding. The move is simple. Secure a $1,000 starter shield. Cash you can access immediately when life breaks. This is your barrier between you and chaos. Until this shield is locked in, don't even look at the stock market. Don't chase crypto. Don't get distracted. Build the shield first. You've crossed the first major hurdle and entered level 2. The next 20% of Americans, those between $15,100 and $115,000 in net worth, are in what I call the stability zone. If you're here, you likely have some home equity, starting to build a small 401k, from a few years of consistent work. Your panic factor has improved. Your clock is now measured in months, somewhere between 1 and 3. You can handle a minor emergency without your life falling apart, but a job loss still keeps you up at night. You're no longer in pure survival mode, but you're not comfortable yet either. Here's the trap that catches people at level 2, lifestyle creep. You finally have a little extra money after years of scraping by, and the temptation to spend it is overwhelming. You want the nicer car, the better apartment, the vacation you've been denying yourself. I get it. You've earned it, but this is the exact moment where you can either lock in your progress or slide backwards. The difference between people who stay at level 2 for decades and people who break through to level 3 comes down to one decision: building what I call the fortress. The action here is to build a 6-month fortress, 6 months of bare minimum survival expenses sitting in a liquid high-yield savings account, not invested in stocks where it can drop 20% in a bad month, but accessible cash that you can grab in an emergency. In early 2026, with the labor market showing real signs of slowing down and layoffs creeping into more industries, This liquidity is your greatest asset. This is what transforms you from stable to secure. This is what lets you sleep well at night. Level 3 is the median trap, and this is the middle 20% of Americans' net worth between $115,000 and $220,000. The actual median net worth for all Americans sits right in this range at roughly $215,000. This is where half of Americans fall below and half rise above, and this is where most people get stuck. If you're in here, your panic factor sits somewhere between 6 months and 1 year. On paper, you look successful. You probably own a home, you drive a nice car, you've got a retirement account that's growing, and your friends and family think you're doing great. But here's what the numbers don't show you. You are house rich and cash poor. Let me break down why this is a trap. If you're like most people at this level, roughly 70% of your net worth is tied up in your primary residence, equity locked into the walls of your house. And here's the brutal truth. When an emergency hits, you need cash, not equity. If the economy shifts, if you lose your job, if housing prices stall or drop, your net worth on paper stays high, but your actual liquidity, your ability to access cash when you need it, vanishes. You're rich on the spreadsheet, but broke in real life. This is also the level where people make a critical psychological mistake. You feel like you've made it, so you stop being as intentional with your money. You upgrade the house again. You finance a luxury car. You take on more fixed expenses because your income supports it, but that income isn't wealth. And that's the gap that keeps you stuck here. The people who break through to level 4 understand that the next action isn't about earning more or getting a bigger house. It's about restraint and diversification. Here's the action you must take. Stop putting every extra dollar into the house or maxing out only your primary 401k. Yes, those are very good things, but they're not liquid and they're not flexible. You need to start building what I call accessible wealth, a taxable brokerage account with stocks or ETFs that you can tap into before you're 60 years old. That isn't locked behind retirement penalties. That gives you options. This is how you turn paper wealth into real financial flexibility. Now we're at level 4, the flexibility zone. This is the next 20% of Americans' net worth between $220,000 and $850,000. You're in the upper levels now, not quite at the top, but you're getting close. If you're here, you've benefited significantly from the asset boom of the last few years. Your home appreciated, your retirement accounts grew, maybe you had some stocks that doubled or even tripled. Your panic factor is now measured in years, somewhere between 2 and 5. You don't need a job in the traditional sense. You choose to have one. This is what many people call FU money light. You have options. You have breathing room. You can take a year off if you need without your life collapsing. But here's where people at this level often sabotage themselves, and I see it all the time. They get bored. The steady, consistent strategy that got them here starts to feel slow. They look at their portfolio growing at 8 or 10% a year and think, that's not enough. I need to accelerate this. So they start taking big swings, picking individual moonshot stocks, dumping money into speculative crypto, chasing the next big thing because they want to hit level 5 faster. And in early 2026, with market volatility spiking and uncertainty everywhere, that's exactly how you blow up years of progress in a few bad months. The critical action at this level is to protect the engine. You've built something that works. You have a diversified portfolio that's compounding. Your job here isn't to get fancy or aggressive. It's to let time and compounding do the heavy lifting. Don't interrupt the engine. Stay disciplined, stay diversified, and let math do the work. The people who make it from level 4 to level 5 aren't the ones who swing for the fences. They're the ones who protect what they've built and stay consistent for another decade. Finally, level 5, the autonomy zone. This is the top 20% of Americans starting at $850,000 in net worth. But the top 20% is a massive range. At the lower end, you're comfortable and secure. At the top 10%, $2.3 million or more. You're wealthy and approaching true autonomy. And the top 1%, $14.5 million or higher. You're in a different world entirely. Here's the staggering part. That top 1% now owns nearly 32% of all US wealth, the highest share on record. This is where the real skyrocketing has happened. As you move through this level, your panic factor shifts from years at the lower end to indefinite at the top. Once you're in the top 10%, your assets can generate enough income to cover your lifestyle forever, and you'll never have to work for money again unless you want to. That's true financial autonomy. But here's what actually separates the people who actually reach the top of level 5 from everyone else. And this is the part most people don't talk about. Everyone at the upper tiers of this level owns something. They don't just have a job and a retirement account. They own a business. They own a massive real estate portfolio. They own significant equity in the stock market that throws off dividends and growth year after year. The action required to reach the top of this level is to shift to ownership. You have to transition from trading your time and labor for dollars to having your dollars work for you 24/7, 365 days a year. This doesn't mean you have to start the next Amazon or buy 100 rental properties, but it does mean that if you want to reach true financial autonomy, at some point you have to shift from being an employee to being an owner. And I don't know, maybe this is starting a side hustle business that eventually replaces your income. Maybe it's buying rental properties that generate cash flow, but the shift has to happen. The wealthiest people in America don't work harder, they own more. The gap in 2026 isn't just about how much money you have, it's about what kind of money you have. Is it locked in a house, trapped behind retirement penalties, or is it working for you in the market, accessible, growing, giving you options? If you're in level 1 or level 2, don't let the skyrocketing headlines about billionaires and the stock market discourage you. That's not your race right now. Focus on your action. Build your shield, build your fortress. Every level starts with one specific move. If you execute that move, you will move up. Before you go, I want to hear from you. What level are you at? And what's the biggest obstacle keeping you from moving on to the next level? And if you want to get crystal clear on where you stand, I've created a free 5 stages net worth tracker. It's a visual PDF that walks you through calculating your exact level and gives you the specific action checklist for your stage. It takes about 5 minutes to fill out, and you'll have complete clarity on your position and your next move. It's free for Patreon supporters. Link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see exactly how much you'd need invested in a popular dividend fund to cover a car payment, pay off your mortgage, or even replace your full-time income, you're going to love this video right here. Click on that one. Take care, and I will see you next time.